Again, please chant. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare one more time. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
So, what's the secret? How have you guys made it work so long?
We have a
Raj, you can hardly hear the volume. You can't hear the kirtan. It's too low.
Everybody with your heart. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Prabhupada. Welcome to CMS Chandramauli Swami's daily Bhagavatam class, Bhagavatam call. I'd like to welcome all of you to the call and also welcome Maharaj. Thank you for joining. Today we will be discussing the Srimad Bhagavatam. We are currently on chapters 9 and 10, sorry, text 9 and 10, and we are on canto 2 and chapter 4. So thank you all for
I'm
joining.
ready to go.
Ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and then yeah, over to you, Baba.
I'll read the verses and then you can take over the purport.
Yes, Maharaj.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yata gunam stupakritir yogapat kramaso piva pibarti burisas tveka kurvan karmani jannabihi Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is one. Whether he alone acts with the modes of material nature or simultaneously expands in many forms or expands consecutively to direct the modes of nature. Text number 10. Vichiksitam vichikisitam etam me bhavitu bhagavan yatam sabde brahmani nishnataha parasmin cha bhavam kalu. Kindly clear up all these doubtful inquiries, because you are not only vastly learned in Vedic literatures and self-realized in transcendence, but also are a great devotee of the Lord and are therefore as good as the personality of Godhead. Purport.
In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that the supreme absolute truth, Govinda, the personality of Godhead, although one without second, is infallibly expanded by innumerable forms non-different from one another. And although he is the original person, he is still ever young with permanent youthful energy. He is very difficult to know simply by learning the transcendental science of the Vedas, but he is very easily realized by the pure devotees. The expansions of the different forms of the Lord, as from Krishna to Baladev to Shankarshan, from Shankarshana to Vasudeva, from Vasudeva to Aniruddha, from Aniruddha to Pradyumna, and then again to the second Shankarshana, and from him to the Narayana, the Purusha avatars, and innumerable other forms which are compared to the constant flowing of the uncountable waves of a river. All are all one and the same. They are like lamps of equal power which kindle from one lamp to another. That is the transcendental potency of the Lord. The Vedas say that he is so complete that even though the whole complete identity emanates from him, he still remains the same complete whole. Purushanyash Purna Adya Purnam Evasyate. As such, there is no validity in the material conception of the Lord produced by the mental speculation. Thus, he remains always a mystery for the mundane scholar, even if he is very lastly learned in the Vedic literatures. Vedeshu durlam adurlamma atma bhakto. Therefore, the Lord is beyond the limit of conception for mundane learned scholars, philosophers, or scientists. He is easily understandable for the pure devotees, because the Lord declares in the Bhagavad Gita 18:54 that after surpassing the stage of knowledge, when one is able to engage in devotional service of the Lord, then only can one know the true nature of the Lord. One cannot have any clear conception of the Lord or his holy name, form, attributes, pastimes, etc., unless one is engaged in the transcendental loving service. The statement of the Bhagavad Gita that one must first of all surrender unto the Lord, being freed from all other engagements, means that one must become a pure, unconditional devotee of the Lord. Only then can one know him in the strength of devotional service. Maharaj Parikshit admitted in the previous verse that the Lord is inconceivable even for the greatest learned scholars. Why then should he again request Sukadev Goswami to clarify his insufficient knowledge about the Lord? The reason is clear. Not only was Sukadev Goswami vastly learned in the Vedic literature, but he was also a great self-realized soul and a powerful devotee of the Lord. A powerful devotee of the Lord is, by the grace of the Lord, more than the Lord himself. The personality of Godhead, Sri Ramachandra, attempted to bridged the Indian Ocean to reach the island of Lanka, but Sri Hanumanji, the unalloyed devotee of the personality of Godhead, could cross the ocean simply by jumping over it. The Lord is so merciful, his pure devotee that the Lord is so merciful upon his pure devotee that he presents his beloved devotee as more powerful than himself. The Lord expressed himself to be unable to save Durvasa Muni, although the Muni was so powerful that he could reach the Lord directly under the material condition. But Durvasa Muni was saved by Maharaj Amrisha, a devotee of the Lord. Therefore, not only is a devotee of the Lord more powerful than the Lord, but also worship of the devotee is considered more effective than direct worship of the Lord. Mad Bhakta Puja Bhaktiyatika. The conclusion is therefore that a serious devotee must first approach a spiritual master who not only is well versed in the Vedic literature, but also a great devotee with factual realization of the Lord and his different energies. Without help of such a devotee, spiritual master, one cannot make progress in the transcendental science of the Lord. And a bona fide spiritual master like Sukadeva Goswami does not speak about the Lord only in the matter of his internal potency, but also explains his associates with his external potencies. The Lord's pastimes in the internal potency are displayed in his activities in Vrindavan, but the workings of his external potency are directed in his features of Karna Rai Varshya Vishnu, Karna Varshaya Vishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and Krishodakshaya Vishnu. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti offers his good counsel to the interested Vaishnavas when he says that they should not be interested in hearing about the Lord's activities like Rasa Leela, but must be keenly interested in the pastimes in his features of the Purusha avatars in connection with the Shrishti Tattva, creational functions, following the examples of Maharaj Parikshit, the ideal example of, and Sukadeva Goswami, the ideal spiritual master.
Umagyantimirandasya Gyanarjana Savakaya Chaksun Militamnina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Pastyatya Desatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Raj, stop sharing and return to gallery. Okay, good. So, yeah. So it's recommended here that one should approach the Lord through his creative aspect. Krishna in Vrindavan is the actual nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his full potency as the absolute truth. But before one can approach the mood of Krishna in Vrindavan, one has to have an understanding of Krishna's creative principles, his feature as the all-powerful supreme force by which everything expands, everything develops, and everything is wound up. So the first and second canto specifically, along with parts of the third canto, deal with this aspect, especially the second canto. This process, this chapter is called the process of creation. So unless we have a clear understanding that that same boy who is, keep it on gallery. Let's see. Not speaker. That same boy who is stealing the clothes of his gopi girlfriends, steals butter and throws it all over the room. Uh, jokes around with his friends and plays all kinds of games. Unless one can have a working knowledge of his feature as the all-powerful Supreme Personality of Godhead, one cannot even begin to understand and only imagine what it is that Krishna in Vrindavan is like. I can't approach Krishna in Vrindavan because that same person is there both in the creative feature and in his sweet Madhurya feature in his loving pastimes with his devotees. Therefore, it is emphasized that to approach the 10th canto, one has to go gradually through the other 9 cantos. This is what Maharaj Parikshit is learning. He's learning about the creative feature of the Lord. He doesn't have to learn about that. He already knows that. And he also knows Krishna in Vrindavan to a large degree. But he's receiving this knowledge in a systematic way and asking questions, not only for his clarification, but for the benefit of all those who hear from Sukadev Goswami. That is, those who take up the reading and studying of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is fundamental. Otherwise, we will simply see Krishna as some kind of story that was created by someone's imagination. How could the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the cause of all chorus, the force behind everything that exists, pass urine on the floor, grab the tail of the cows and slide through cow dung, and steal the clothes of the gopis, steal butter and lie to his mother that he did it. But this sweet aspect of the Supreme Lord, which is his real nature, and what he might say, not real nature, but his principle of his actual existence as the Supreme Lord in terms of his loving relationships with his devotees in the spiritual world, can only be approached when we carefully and systematically, with great understanding, approach him through his other manifestations of incarnations as it's being delineated and explained in the first 9 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam. And of course, one has to learn that knowledge from the bona fide spiritual master. So this process here is very direct and very clear. Maharaj Parikshit, he's asking questions not only for himself, but for the benefit of all living beings. And as he is asking, he says, kindly clear up all these doubtful inquiries. There's no doubt on his part, but he's saying, he's only speaking like that. And to know the majestic feature of the Lord in his creative manifestation as it expands within the spiritual world is actually brings one to a greater appreciation, and it increases the magnitude of how one experiences the personality of Godhead. And the previous verse mentions that he is one, but he takes on different forms in his interaction with the material energy. But he still remains one. So God is always one. He's never two. Two means 2 different personalities, but he is one and many at the same time. Nityo nityanam chaitanas chaitananam eko bahunam viradati kaman. He maintains all of the other living entities, and he is one without a second. Although, as is explained, Srila Prabhupada was explaining, you can sit on the banks of an ocean shoreline and watch the waves come in. And you may be very patient and try to count the waves, but after some time you will lose count. Because the waves will continue to come in consistently. So the forms of the Lord are so innumerable that they even, surpass anyone's ability to calculate how many forms. Even Anantashesh, who sits on the bottom of the universe, he is gravity himself. Sometimes people say, well, how is these different planets floating in air? Well, this equilibrium, or this force, is given by Lord Nityananda as he expands himself into Anantashesh, who holds up all of the planets on his hoods. Like that. He actually holds up the universes on his hoods, which contain the innumerable planets. So some of us may think, well, that's also nice, but let's hear about Krishna and Vrindavan, his pastimes with his friends, his pastimes with his girlfriends, boyfriends, parents, like that. A devotee should aspire for that, but before one can really approach that, one has to have a clear and solid understanding of the nature of the absolute, all-powerful Supreme Personality of Godhead. And therefore, Bhagavatam gives a systematic approach that leads up to Krishna and the Vrindavan. Bhagavatam is compared to the transcendental body of the Lord. Each of the parts of the body of the Lord are correlated with different cantos. For instance, Canto 1 and Canto 2 are the feet of the Lord. Canto 3 is like the calves of the Lord. Canto 4, the thighs. And as you go up the transcendental body of the Lord, you come to the 10th canto, which is the smiling face of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in his most attractive feature as Lord Shri Krishna, who manifests himself in different forms of himself for the sake of transcendental happiness in variety. Variety is very much a big part of transcendental nomenclature, because variety gives excitement and enthusiasm and sweetness to a particular object. Just like in this material world, there are varieties, but the varieties are limited. Just like, for instance, there are colors. So if everything was one color, you would be pretty much unable to enjoy anything in life if everything was just one color. So there are varieties of colors. So variety gives, what they say, spice, happiness, animation to life. So in the spiritual world, there's unlimited varieties, and within the varieties, there's more varieties. As Krishna manifests himself in different forms of himself, in even those different forms of himself, there's a variety of ways he displays those different forms of himself. And all of that is simply for his own transcendental pleasure. He likes to do different things. He likes to express himself in different ways because he's a personality. Just like we are personalities, we also like to express ourselves in different ways. We may have a favorite way we like to express ourselves, but our expressions are always in line with the particular role we play in relationship to the activities we perform. And so we have different expressions of ourselves also. But then again, there is you, who is the center of all of that expression. So Krishna is like that, but he expresses himself in so many different ways, and that attracts the devotees to him in different ways. Therefore, he's all attractive because he can manifest himself in so many ways to attract each and every living entity. It even says that the Lord he doesn't take births, but he appears in different forms, even within the material energy. And he becomes the best within that form, even in the lower species. He appears in all of the 8 million species of life in different forms. Why? Simply to attract the living entities in that species to him, by which they can make progress and move forward along on the path heading towards human form of life. They go through the evolutionary process very quickly by the arrangements of the Lord. Okay. Sudevi, what are you doing? You keep jumping around. So, this is Krishna consciousness. It's full of varieties. There's so many aspects to Krishna consciousness that everyone can find something that is attractive to them. And of course, it's all centered around Krishna, but it manifests in different forms of himself. And of course, it mentions that in order to understand the Lord, one has to become fully purified from all material desires. What is that understanding? That one becomes attracted to him and becomes absorbed in devotional service to him. No one can fully understand the Lord. The Lord is so great. But he manifests himself in different features of himself just to perform his pastimes for the sake of attracting his devotees in different services to him. Here it is also mentioned how he empowers his devotees beyond his own empowerment. Prabhupada says the devotee of the Lord becomes even more powerful than the Lord, because he used the example of how Ram wanted to cross the ocean to get to Lanka, but he couldn't figure out how to do it. Or at least he played that role of not being able to do it. But then he dispatched his pure devotee, Sri Hanumanji, who simply jumped across the ocean like that. So the Lord can do anything, but he empowers his devotees to do things on his behalf. And that devotee gets the credit, gets all of the glory, and the Lord becomes very much pleased to place his devotee ahead of himself. And that's his love for his devotee. He likes to see his devotee do things that he could do easily, but the devotee does it, and then all glories to that devotee, and the devotee does wonderful service on behalf of the Lord. So as Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, I am the ability in all living entities. I am remembrance, I'm knowledge, I'm forgetfulness. I am the ability in all living beings. So ultimately, he's empowering those devotees to do wonderful things on his behalf. And so they get the credit, and Krishna becomes happy to see his devotee glorified in that way. Okay, these are some of the points in this particular section here. And it goes right back to that if one wants to understand things, they have to take knowledge from Krishna through his pure devotees who are qualified and fully engaged in devotional service. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Maharaj. Some wonderful points. You mentioned about how the Lord takes different forms, but in essence, He's one, and the forms are unlimited.
You don't have to summarize.
Okay.
Yeah. If you have a question, if there's nobody has questions, then you can jump in and
Okay.
give some summary or something. But as soon as questions come up, we divert towards the questions.
Okay. So Shilpesh Prabhu, please ask your question. And any
Yeah.
devotees, please raise your hands.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to the assembled devotees. So Guru Maharaj, does Krishna give us the ability when we endeavor for him, or do we need to desire the ability to endeavor?
Sometimes he does it without even making the endeavor. For him. But he chooses who he wants to do that. So that devotee is qualified to do what the Lord inspires him to do. But the devotee may not make a request to act in that way, but the Lord will inspire him to act in that way. Raj, turn to Canto 6, chapter 19, verse number 5. 6, 5, 19. That's 19 is the last chapter. And yeah, no, 6:19:5. I'm sorry. 6:19:5. Okay. Okay. So it says here it says, sometimes the Lord as a child requests his devotee for some food as if he were hungry. You can follow here. Sometimes he tells his devotee in a dream that his temple and his garden are now very old and that he can't enjoy them nicely. Thus he requests the devotee to repair them. Sometimes he's buried in the earth as if unable to come out. He requests his devotee to rescue him. Sometimes he requests his devotee to preach his glories all over the world, although he alone is competent to perform this task. Even though the Supreme Personality of God is endowed with all possessions and self-sufficient, he depends on his devotees. Therefore, the relationship of the devotee and the Lord is extremely confidential. Okay? Does that help?
Yes, Guru Maharaj. It's very mystical, this relationship. We can't figure it out in our heads.
No, but if you desire to do something on behalf of the Lord, and then you qualify yourself, then Krishna will empower you to perform the activity. What is your qualification? You have to be surrendered to the Lord's will. You can't want to do something great in order for your own aggrandizement. You have to do it as a service to glorify the Lord or to push on Krishna consciousness. But the Lord will choose sometimes, as it mentions in that verse, his devotees. He appears to them in dreams or in different ways, and he encourages them to do some service that needs to be done. So who are those people who get chosen? That's those who are fully surrendered, ultimately.
What about us beginners? How does he help us then in that respect?
He gives you the spiritual master, and the spiritual master engages you in some service.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Thank you. When do you land in Govardhan, Echo Village?
We're flying to Mumbai next Thursday. we arrived Friday morning in Mumbai.
Oh, good. Looking forward.
Definitely, Guru Maharaj. It's a miracle how this has happened. It's all your mercy, Maharaj.
Yeah, be careful of Maya. She's still going to give you some reasons that there are other important things going on in life.
No.
We just tell her to go away and come back after the retreat.
You're scaring me, Guru Maharaj.
No, Maya's like that. She wants to test you.
Yeah.
She's your friend.
Yeah.
How much do you really want Krishna?
I've had some tests already, and they seem to be sorting out. So I'm looking forward to this now.
Good. Look forward to more tests.
I've had too many this lifetime, Maharaj.
Well, so far so good.
True. It's brought me running to Krishna. That's what matters. It's brought me running to the Lord.
If you go to school and there's no tests, how can you show how much you learn? You have to have a test to show how much you actually imbibed in the information coming from the teacher.
True. I was just looking at some videos about, Joseph Campbell's The Hero's Journey, how the hero is always tested on his journey.
Yeah, but for devotion in devotional life, everyone gets tested, not just the heroes. The ones that pass, they become the heroes.
Very bold.
Sridevi Mataji.
I'll be right back. I just have to do one thing. I can hear you though.
Okay, thank you. Dear Guru Maharaj, my humble obeisances to you. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Guru Maharaj, in the Bhagavad Gita, it says, Janma karma chame divyam yo janati tatvatah. One who knows the nature of my transcendental birth and activities does not take his birth again. So one who really knows and understands about Krishna, only he can go back home, back to Godhead. So I may claim, oh, I know Krishna took birth in a prison cell and I know his activities and I know this and I know that. But how can one understand that one really understands or one really knows?
It becomes intuitive knowledge and not just theoretical knowledge. It's realized. Just like it says, God is one, but he's many. So how much can you realize about that? How can he be many and one at the same time? But he is. And that's the absolute truth of his existence. Realization is a step up from theoretical knowledge. And intuitive knowledge is actually realized knowledge coming from Krishna within the heart. I can sit there and explain to you what the food tastes like, and I can also tell you how it was cooked and who cooked it, but you don't get the experience until you actually eat it. So we can read, but this knowledge is important. That knowledge becomes part of you, or realized knowledge, through the process of surrendering to the spiritual master and engaging in devotional service. Without doing that, your knowledge will remain just theoretical. Just like there are many scholars that can comment about Krishna, but they have no realization at all. They just have some book learning, that's all. Book learning is not full knowledge.
you, Maharaj, for the answer.
Sudevi, you look miserable. What happened? Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. In fact, I'm really happy today because I went to the temple and I
No,
bounced around.
not Sri Devi. I said Sudevi.
Oh, Sudevi. Oh, okay. Sorry.
Sudevi looked like she had. Sudevi, you're okay?
Yes, Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. I'm okay, Guru Maharaj.
I hope so. Yay. Nice to see you. Keep smiling.
So
All
we have a
right. Sri Devi, I don't have to ask you how you are. I know. You always tell me every minute. So, but that's okay. Keeps me on my toes.
So, Maharaj, we have a question from Shri Advaita on the chat. Hare Krishna, Maharaj, please.
No, don't go to the chats until we finish the people who are online.
Okay.
Chats come when we run out of questions
Okay.
for those who have their hands up. So we have 2 more hands up already.
Okay. Dinanath Prabhu and then Gaurangi Priya Mataji, you can go after him.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, humble obeisances to you. All glories to Prabhupada. Maharaj, the verse says that one who imparts the Vedic knowledge is to be considered as good as the personality of Godhead. And we can see that if you take it in the right understanding and if we read the right scriptures with the right understanding. But Maharaj, what happens in India, mostly as you see, this principle is been kind of abused where gurus claims to be God themselves. And this is where a lot of hodgepodge comes in, Maharaj.
Yeah, the Prabhupada's talked about that so many times. Just like I was just talking to one devotee. He's preaching in the West. He did a program and one personality came and he at the end of the program, he was passing out flyers to all of the people who were there. So this devotee approached him and says, "What are you doing?" He said, "Well, I'm God." So, and then God said to him, "What's your name?" So the devotee said, "Well, if you're God, you should know my name." And then God got angry, started shouting and yelling and screaming, and then he just walked out. So he defeated God. But at least God got a lot of prasadam anyway. He said he ate 3 plates of prasadam. But I was telling the devotee, he should have told him that God doesn't eat it. He sees it with his eyes and he leaves it there for us. So this God, he just blew the whole thing. I mean, so when you hear people speaking that I am God, all you have to do is ask a few key questions and it expose their ignorance, and expose their charades, But the ones in India are a little bit more smarter. They say, well, that's my Leela. So when you point out their defects, they say that's Leela. I've come into the material world to perform activities, so I'm also acting like the conditioned souls. It's just a farce. If God is not in the scriptures, then he's not God.
Yes, Maharaj, thank you.
What's your question?
No, I was just understanding that we need to also have, the devotees have the right understanding, But this principle of accepting a person or a pure devotee who is disseminating this spiritual knowledge is to be considered as good as the Godhead himself. And that principle is so important to understand because in Bhagavatam, many great personalities are also referred to as Bhagwan, like Lord Shiva is mentioned, Narad Muni is mentioned as Bhagwan as well, Brahma is mentioned as Bhagwan, and Prabhupada has given all right commentaries and explanation. But as I said, just wanted to point out that principle is so much abused in the Kali
Yeah,
Yuga.
this is Kali Yuga and it's full of cheaters. And there's, as Prabhupada used to say, every day in India they're manufacturing a new incarnation of God. It's coming up every day. Each one has his own particular, style to attract people. I think these so-called these you know these false gods, they actually think about how to do this thing for a long time until they get it down, and then they reveal their whole program. But even when Krishna was there, he had Pondraka. Pondraka, he not only said he was God, he adopted the syllables or the symbols of God, and he also had the dress. He looked exactly like Lord Narayan, and he had followers too. When Krishna saw him, he laughed. And Krishna didn't waste time with him. He just took his Sudarshan chakra and gave him a haircut below the neck. So yeah, there's so many of them, but they're easily exposed.
So Garangi Priya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. We know that Purush avatars are expansion of second Sankarshan of second Chaturbhuhu. But my question is, who is this second Shankar? Where is this second Sankarshan lives in which Vaikuntha? Because there are innumerable Vaikunthas in spiritual world.
Mm-hmm. The second Sankarshan expands himself into Mahavishnu, who begins the process of creation. So you're asking about the second Sankarshan. He's part of the spiritual world. Vasudev, Sankarshan, Aniruddha, Pradyumna. They're called the Chaturvyuha. And they also appear in the world as personalities. Just like when Ram came, Ram was Vasudev. Lakshman was Sankarshan. Bharat was Aniruddha. And, Sutrugna was Pradyumna. So they also manifest themselves for Leelas in the material world. But they have their planets in the spiritual world also.
But Guru Maharaj, we know there are innumerable Vaikunthas in spiritual world. But
Right.
this second Sankarshan lives in which Vaikuntha?
Well, it doesn't say where he lives. Vaikuntha is so vast. I don't know if there's any geographical division of Vaikuntha. There are gradations of planets within the Vaikuntha realm, according to the different manifestations of the personality of Godhead in different forms. The highest planet in the Vaikuntha realm is Lord Ram's planet, Ayodhya Dham.
Okay, Guru
And
Maharaj.
below that is Lord Nrsinga's planet. So each of the incarnations and manifestations have their own planet. But it doesn't mention that the Chaturvyuha has their own planet. Nowhere does it say, because it describes the different expansions of Lord Narayan's forms in the different Vishnu and Narayan features in the spiritual world. But you do a little further investigation and see, where or what role Sankarshan plays in the spiritual world. None of the Vishnu forms are called Shankarshan, that's for sure.
Okay, Guru Maharaj, thank you.
Yeah, technical question. Amrita Nam.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So Guru Maharaj,
Oop. You went blank.
when we Hare Krishna,
Yeah, start all over again.
I'm looking for clarification, Guru Maharaj. Am I audible? Hare Krishna.
Where's our Zoom host? Yeah, you have to monitor what's going on here.
We can hear you. We can hear you, Masterji. You go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So my question is, when we talk about worshipping the devotees of the Lord, as is the ISKCON doing, I think it is in the secondary criteria. First we worship the Lord and then comes the worship. So that should be the way, or when we are worship only the devotees of the Lord, how should it be then?
You can't approach the Lord unless you approach him through his devotees.
Okay.
It's not possible to worship the Lord without approaching him, that worship, through his devotees. He makes
Okay.
himself available through his devotees.
Okay, so first we go to Guru and then we go to Lord in worship. But
Well,
then some
Guru brings you to the Lord. Not that you can just travel through different stations of worship there and choose where you want to go. It's not like that.
no, I mean what we want to offer to the Lord, first we offer it to Guru and then Guru takes it to the Lord. Yeah. So but not talking about the ISKCON. If we talk outside ISKCON, in some other sampradayas, or not in other sampradayas, but in somewhere they keep the Guru or the devotees worship more elaborated. Should that be done or should that not be done? Is it correct?
Worship of the spiritual master should be done in the same mood as worship of the Lord. Because the spiritual master is manifested as the representative of the Lord in the material world for the devotee to worship. So you see, if you go to India, you're in India anyway, you'll see worship of the Guru is very elaborate. But the Guru doesn't want such elaborations, so people try to temper it accordingly. So, but whatever he receives, he passes on to the Lord. If the Guru is starting to live like the Lord, with living in big palaces and driving around in fancy cars, then people will start to criticize, rightly so. But occasionally, just like one time when Prabhupada came to the airport, devotees had hired this beautiful limousine. And, the reporters were there. So the reporters got a little, I guess, envious. And they say, why do you have to drive in this fancy car? And Prabhupada said, actually, this car is not good enough. It should have been a golden car. For the spiritual master, one should see him in the same way as one seeing the Lord, like that. But don't worry, I don't have a car, so don't worry. And I don't want one. Sri Devi, she wants a car, but
No,
she
Guru.
did for one day and then she gave it up. She couldn't find a chauffeur, that's why she gave it up. So yeah, the spiritual master, he lives
Thank you.
he lives simply, but he can accept all kinds of opulence on behalf of the Lord, and he passes them on. He puts them into use in devotional service. He passes them on to the Lord. He uses them to spread Krishna consciousness.
I'm anyways, Guru Maharaj, attracted to your simplicity. So I don't think that, Guru Maharaj.
No.
Thank you for the clarification.
Trupti Mataji.
Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj, and very good to see you, Raji Maharaj, too, after a long time. Hare Krishna to everybody, Hare Krishna to all devotees. I have been away from the class for some time. Guru Maharaj, I have missed the classes directly, but I have been able to watch it on YouTube. Due to technical problem with my phone and some social things happen, I have been away from the classes. Yesterday's class I really enjoyed on the YouTube yesterday, and enjoyed your laughing that brings so much bliss and encouragement to us all. You obviously your inspiration. Guru Maharaj, my question is not on the class today, but we had some death in the family, and they were non-devotee, and they were not following the vegetarianism and all sorts. But anyway, I knew them from a long time. So my question is, when I heard that he's passing away, I was asked to go there, so I went there, and I had opportunity to sit beside his bed and ICU and pray for him. I did chanting, I did japa, and after his passing, I managed to read Bhagavad Gita verse, one chapter every day until the funeral day. And my question is that the family didn't do any pujas or light any lamps or didn't perform anything. So do you think he benefited anything from what I have given to him for whatever I known? Because obviously I am not worthy of preaching. I'm not worthy of anything, but I could read Sanskrit, so I did read Gita, Bhagavad Gita, each chapter every day. So my question is that would he received any of that blessings of Sri Lord Krishna from this on his last, when he was leaving this world? Before they switched the machine off, I was chanting beside him.
Yeah,
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
that's the service of the well-wishers and the devotees, is to give some prayers, some blessings, some, yeah. So, and the Lord will, consider that. It's up to the Lord how he wants to accept or not accept. But anything you do for the departed soul, it's very much encouraged to do that. Like that. So yeah, you did some nice service. You did some necessary service.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Yeah.
Thank you, Trupti Mataji. Rasa Vilasini Radha Devidasi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj.
Mataji.
Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Shiva, all glories to Gurudev, all glories to family devotees. Maharaj, when we were talking about the Krishna's incarnation, so I was thinking like the differences like Nandanandan Krishna and Dwarka Krishna. Can you please explain, Maharaj? Because whenever I listen, I get a bit confused.
What is the confusion?
Nandanandan Krishna and Dwarka Krishna. What is the difference, Maharaj?
Difference in the moods that the Lord displays. That's all. Vrindavan Krishna, he is in his mood, in his actual mood as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna in Vrindavan is Krishna. All of the other manifestations in the different realms of his activities are also Krishna. But it's a matter of sweetness and intimacy. In Vrindavan, there's more intimacy and there's more sweetness. In Dwarka, there's a little bit more Aishwarya, awe and reverence, or in Dwarka, they know he's the Supreme Lord. In Krishna, in Vrindavan, they don't know he's the Supreme Lord. They know he's simply the beautiful boy of Vrindavan. So if the queens in Dwarka start jumping on the back of, Dwarkadish, it's not exactly the idea. But when Krishna's friends jump on his back, Krishna likes it and he plays with them in the groves of Vrindavan. Intimacy and sweetness is Vrindavan. Aishwarya, opulence, awe and reverence are the other moods of Krishna in different places.
Thank you for that question. We have some time for more questions, Maharaj?
What did you say, Rasa? We didn't hear you.
Actually, Maharaj, I was thinking like when the Krishna left Vrindavan, so I heard in a class like he was there already like as a Nandan Krishna in Vrindavan. So that was the confusion. Like Krishna expand himself like Nandan Krishna, Dwarka Krishna.
In his earthly pastimes, he went from place to place, but in the mood of Vrindavan, he stays in the hearts of his devotees. Therefore, it says Krishna never leaves Vrindavan because he's in the hearts of his devotees. He's present there, but he appears to leave. Unless you understand the mood of Vrindavan, my answers won't go anywhere. You have to understand the mood of Vrindavan before you can understand what I'm saying.
Yes, Maharaj, I understood little bit that. Like I understood, Maharaj.
You have to understand the mood of Vrindavan is that, they're loving Krishna as an ordinary boy, but he's not ordinary. He's God. But they don't worship him as God, nor they're interested. If somebody tells them he's God, they're not interested in that. Yeah, it's just, for instance, Prabhupada gives a little example. Try to listen to this. When a big executive of a corporation, or let's say even the president of a country, so when he's out and about, everyone says, "Mr. President," and he's surrounded by military, surrounded by royalty, and he's giving a lot of respect like that. Everything is very formal, respectful like that, as his role as a president. So when he comes home, his wife doesn't relate to him like that. She has another relationship with him that is very sweet and intimate. And when he plays with his children, he's like rolling on the floor with his kids and playing horsey with the kids. Same executive. So that's Krishna. When he's Vrindavan, he's in a more intimate role with his ministers and his colleagues will call him Mr. President, or they might say his name. But when he's at home, his wife has a pet name for him that nobody knows except her. The kids call him Daddy. So can you see the point?
Yes, Maharaj, I understood now.
Okay.
Thank you so much for the clarification. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Marge. Do we have time for more questions, Marge? Or
Yeah, you can check out the chat.
okay, so we have a question from Sri Advaita, and he says, "Please accept my humble obeisances, August Prabhupada. Thank you for the wonderful class, Maharaj. How can one practice true surrender to Krishna while actively performing their worldly duties, ensuring they remain detached and in control of their mind and senses, yet fully dependent on Krishna's will? As they both seem contrary to each other, to do their duty nicely, we need to be attached to it, to perform it nicely. So how does one balance material duties with spiritual love for Krishna?"
Yeah, that's always a struggle for the devotee. How to live in the world and keep your Krishna consciousness and carry out your worldly duties. The foundation by which that starts is strong sadhana. very good sadhana. Chanting good rounds, reading and hearing Bhagavatam, worshiping your deities, setting the stage spiritually for the activities that will come by way of your daily requirements. If you don't have strong sadhana, and then when you come back from your day's work, you do more sadhana, and you end the day with sadhana, you begin the day with sadhana. In the middle, you carry out your worldly responsibilities, but you also understand your real desire in life, or your real goal in life, is to become Krishna conscious. But that doesn't mean you neglect or become less efficient in your material activities. You do those nicely. But you realize this is not the goal. These things will pass. They're just necessary as long as you have a material body. But at one point, you'll understand that these things are not even necessary, but your spiritual life remains. That is with you always. But these material duties will come and go. Material relatives will come and go. Friends will come and go. The things you do in this world come and go. Everything goes. Even you go. Even if you want to stay here, you can't. So do your material activities in a detached way, but do them in the best possible way at the same time. As Krishna told Arjuna, he gives the verse. It's from Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, verse number 30. He says, "Fight for the sake of fighting. Never consider happiness and distress, honor and dishonor, victory or defeat. Simply fight for me." But do your duty, but keep your focus on the real goal of life, Krishna consciousness. Krishna.
So it's like Murad, when you're doing your duty, you're also doing it for Krishna. Like say if you're working your job and you're thinking, oh, maybe I'm earning some money and I'll give some money to Krishna, or I'm acquiring some skill and maybe I'll use that skill in Krishna's service, or I'm gonna create a household and from that household I can have nice programs because I've got this nice house. So there's that.
Yeah. All of the things that you learn and develop, you should also think how to use them in Krishna's service.
So he's just asked follow-up, like basically we need to be attached to do it nicely. Detached would mean that we're not putting our heart into it. So
No, it means you're not looking to gain happiness from any of the activities. You're doing it as a sense of duty, that's all. If you gain some happiness, fine. But people perform material duties because they're looking for some happiness, some success, some reciprocation. Just do them for this because they're necessary, that's all. And so we use a little phrase. You have to act like it depends on you, and you have to know it doesn't. So can you develop that? It's not easy to develop that mindset because it's contradictory. But you'll see as you grow in your spiritual life, your material activities won't become so important anymore. It's almost like you have to take care of your body in order for you to function in this world. But taking care of the body is not the goal. The function in the world may be the goal, but taking care of the body is required. So you may have to take care of some material duties in order to function in this world. That's all. So, you just take care of the body because you have to. It's not like you have a picnic taking care of your body, You don't turn it into a mahotsava. You just do it. That's all. But there's another principle, whereas in doing your material duties, you're always thinking of Krishna. When can I be with the devotees? When can I chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra? When can I, again, get directly involved with Krishna conscious activities? So that's there in the mind as you're also doing your material duties. So material duties may be necessary for some of us, but that necessity is not the source of our success in life, and nor will it ever become the source of our success in life. It's just needed to keep the body together, that's all.
Maharaj, Sri Advaita said he's going to get a t-shirt that says, I act like it depends on me, but I know it doesn't.
You're going to get a lot of questions based on that t-shirt. So get real bright letters so everybody sees it. And then you can use that to preach Krishna consciousness.
Sridevi, Maharaj, do we have more time for questions or?
Yeah, I'm here. I got nothing to do. I don't do nothing all day, so I can just continue to do nothing. So if you give me something to do, then I can do something.
It's your mercy that you take the time out. I'm sure you have lots to do, but
Yeah, I have the lots to do. I have chant Hare Krishna, read some books, and answer emails. and discuss health with Raj Mukund on WhatsApp. These are the difficult things I face each day.
From renunciation comes power, Maharaj, don't you think?
Yeah. Even the people who are renounced in the material world gain some material power. But they use the material power and just to further their material desires, which is counterproductive.
Sridevi Mataji, what's your next question?
Yes, dear Guru Maharaj, I have a question about, devotees being happy in their service, devotees progressing nicely. As devotees, we want to see others happy. We want to see them nicely situated. We want to see them feeling satisfied and making progress. So devotee does work for the happiness of others, for the, peace and well-being for others. He wants everyone to be happy. So what is wrong with that?
Did I say there was something wrong with it?
No, but when supposing we preach to somebody, whether you're happy or not, just go on doing your services, just go on, don't worry about happiness and all. they might just feel, oh my God, I'm not feeling happy and I should go on with this. They might be confused, isn't it?
You have to ask him, why are you not happy? Ask him.
Okay.
Or you might be even less formal by saying, is there anything I can do to serve you? Or you can even be even less formal. You can see the situation and figure out things to do. Will be nice.
So we do want to see others happy and at peace and progressing nicely in Krishna consciousness. That is the endeavor of all devotees, right?
Yeah. The idea is to make the world Krishna conscious. That's the legacy we inherited, to become instruments for Srila Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya's mission in purifying the world.
Maharaj,
Yeah. Yeah. You want to stop here and we can have a little japa session?
yeah. I just had a question, Maharaj. In the purport, it was saying how, or you were mentioning in the class how, like, before we get to Vrindavan, we need to know Krishna himself as a supreme personality.
Well,
So what
that's why Bhagavatam is aligned that way. It doesn't start off with Krishna and Vrindavan. It starts off with Krishna as the all-powerful force that brings about all of creation, maintains it, and destroys it. The idea is that one will not be able to approach Krishna and Vrindavan unless they understand that same person who is the all-powerful Supreme Lord is the same person who steals butter and teases his girlfriends. It's the same person. But people won't be able to make that connection unless they understand first his all-powerful nature.
So what do you feel, Maharaj, about people that, like, these preaching projects that take people to Vrindavan, like, kirtan groups, and we see so many people doing tours to Vrindavan now. It's become a spiritual tourism, a spiritual, even devotees, they take people to Vrindavan early in their Krishna consciousness. So what do you feel about that?
Well, to go to Vrindavan doesn't mean you entered into Vrindavan. Vrindavan is a state of consciousness. Physically there doesn't mean you're there. And there's those who never go to Vrindavan, but they're in Vrindavan consciousness all the time. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's one purport which lists as a whole series of Lord Chaitanya's followers who never went to Vrindavan. But they were in the Vrindavan mood. But going to Vrindavan doesn't mean you actually went to Vrindavan. Vrindavan means the mood of serving the Lord, to please the Lord, without asking even a slightest bit of anything for oneself. Don't want anything. All I want to do is please Krishna.
Right. So thank you, everyone. I guess
I'll get
Yes.
my beads and we can begin. Do you know how to manipulate the different features of the deities with the holy name?
I'm going to try. I think Mataji did send me a picture. Let me try.
Yeah, go ahead and start it.
Is Mataji on the call? Maybe she can help me just share it. Srimati Mataji is not on the call.
She is.
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I
Mataji,
sent to you.
are you happy to share it?
Yeah, I can. Give me a second.
Okay. Raj, how long are you good for the host program?
I have to go soon, but I could do one round.
Okay, then you have to give the host
Yes,
someone, Sri Devi or someone else to take over the host position.
I'm going to give it to Sribati Mataji.
Yes,
Sri-
yes, I can be there.
Okay.
Are you host?
Yeah. I'll drop off after about 15, 20 minutes, and then you can continue. Jai Shri Krishna. Everyone sit properly, back straight, sitting in a chair, keep your back straight. And if you're sitting in cross-legged position, also back straight, keep your head up, and keep your beads above your waist. And we begin by praying for the mercy of Panchatattva. Jai Shri Krishna, Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So, Srimati, you got a split screen here. You can see the devotees and the picture. So, can you fix that?
Yes, Maharaj, yeah, I'll try. Maharaj, now,
No. You can still see the devotees and the picture at the same time.
It's fine for us, Maharaj.
If you don't mind, yeah. I'm gonna zoom out though, but I'll be here. Okay. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Bring it in, heat it up and bring it in. All of it. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Hare